This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hello, everybody. It is the After Party Live, and thank you for letting me start the show a little bit early. You know, we get a Mark Thompson show that ends around 1, and I find I'm like, oh, it seems like a long time to wait to start at 1:30, but it's the end of the other show is kind of all over the map, so that's why I put the 1:30 start time. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for letting me start early, and hi. First order of business is to wish Nola Fidian, our own Walter, a very, very happy birthday. And on this show, oopsies, I'm going to turn that off. On this show, you know what that means. That means you get the Jacob video. Happy birthday, Walter.
You requested a happy birthday song, so I'm going to give you one. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. And thank you for spending it not only on the Mark Thompson show, but here as well. Boy, it got a little heated in the Mark Thompson show chat today. I don't want to delete anyone, but sometimes you have to. I tried not to today and I didn't. But Mark's one rule is, listen, you have to, when you're disagreeing with a guest, disagree with facts, disagree above board. You don't resort to, name calling or being derogatory to the person. And that's when he says you get red carded. I didn't want to red card the person, but it's getting close. And I hate to have that happen. So, it's just, I like, and we don't worry about it really on this show because we keep it kind. We're cool to each other. We don't really get political. Tensions and passions don't really flare like on the Mark Thompson show. We this is the cool down, right? But gotta be kind. Just gotta keep it kind in both places. I do want to, speaking of kind, you guys are kind. The votes that you have put up, look at this. Wow, we now have 9% of the vote. This is crazy. 6,813 votes at 9% of the vote, sitting prettily in fourth place. And I'm telling you that Steve Fox is right on our tail. So thank you for continuing to vote. This is for Audiocaster of the Year from the Bay Area Radio Hall of Fame is putting this on. And it's not really like a scientific vote, one person, one vote. It's you vote as many times as you can between now and July 1st. So the address is in the chat twice. Thank you to everyone who votes and votes often. You guys have pushed this show to number 4. This is because of you. Thank you. I'm voting too. It seems rather egotistical to vote for oneself, but I'm clicking as well. So thank you for that, getting us to 6,813 votes. If you are so inclined, if you have extra time, please consider voting. If you think about it, maybe just click here and click there, or I know some people are voting a lot. So thank you for all of that. I don't know how, maybe 100 people, if you vote 5 times in one sitting, whatever, it pushes us. Nola Fidian says our goal is number 1. I don't think we're going to pass Danny Wright. He's got more than 30,000 votes with 38%. I don't put anything past this crew, this After Party Live crew. The possibility exists that you guys will pull this off, but I don't think so. We're at 9%, although we still have until July 1st. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not ambitious enough, but I think 4th place is pretty good. The problem is you have to keep voting to stay in 4th place. So, but hey, Nola Fidian, it could be a birthday gift to you, right? I got a really lovely email from, my phone is making noises, from Julie D regarding the appearance yesterday of Glenn on the show. And here is what she writes. She says, Kim, that was so much fun with Glenn on the show from Australia. What a great guy. He put together the photos, having the map helped. Isn't it interesting, she writes, that he has engaged with the Mark Thompson show and the After Party Live and what is going on in America. And it is heartwarming, she says, to have that level of connection with people. Thanks, Julie D. So really, really nice. And then I got the nicest email from Glenn. This guy is so awesome. He says, thank you for sharing the email. Great to know your show has such a positive impact on people. Oh, that just hits me in the heart. I've always said all along since COVID, when I became very involved in opposing the you-know-what administration, the one good thing he has done for the world is uniting them against him. And I'm very happy to have found the Mark Thompson show and the wonderful people that are truly a part of it. See you on the chat. Thank you, Glenn. Thanks again for yesterday. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the nice note. Really, really kind. I guess I can take the voting down. I kind of don't want to. Look at that, more than 6,000 votes. I'm pretty excited about that. I know. Makes me really happy. Please click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. My wonderful bassoonist daughter has a big audition today. So if you could, as you click the like button, throw a little good juju out into the world for my little juju, I would appreciate that as well. One thing I love about her is she doesn't give up. So we would support that. Luis, Kim, you are truly no ka'oi. The best. Thank you. Yeah, Maui no Ka'oi, right? Kim no Ka'oi. I'll take it. I love that. Thank you, Luis. Aloha. Really appreciate that comment and the $5 super chat. Need all we can get here on the After Party Live, so it's really appreciated. Again, Olivian, Kim's number one. You know, from your fingertips to God's ears, or whatever the saying is, I would appreciate it. Oh, there's Glenn. Thank you. Thanks for coming in yesterday. Really nice. I've lost track of how many times I've voted, but it's not enough. You're the reason why it's 6,000. You and Teacher Lori. That's probably why. And Maud coming in. Hi, Maud. Okay. First story is about this crazy apple. Have you seen this picture? It's half red and it's half yellow. And it's attracting all kinds of attention. It's at a grocery store in New Zealand. It's called I always say this wrong. I should have looked it up before the show. Chimera? Yeah, it's a happy. It's at the store in New Zealand, and people are flocking to the store to see it. It's almost split perfectly down the middle, these colors. It was found in a mid-May delivery of red Braeburn apples at the Sunshine Corner Market in the suburb of Christchurch called, and Glenn will have to fix me on this one, Marehau, M-A-R-E-H-A-U, Marehau. That's where it is in New Zealand. Not that we're going there, but still. This type of apple is believed to occur less than 1 in a million fruits. And it's the result of a genetic mutation that causes the apple to form from cells from 2 different genetic backgrounds. The store's owner says this apple has become a local celebrity. People have gone home, told their other half, they haven't believed them, so the people have come back with them. Lots of people excited. People come into the store to take pictures of this really cool bi-colored apple. They say it's the first they've ever seen at this store, and they've been in this game of selling apples for a long time. Customers have even asked to touch the apple for luck before entering contests. The apple's shelf life has been extended by spending time in the refrigerator, but they say the time is soon approaching to decide whether it can be permanently preserved or whether it'll be cut open to see what does it look like inside. That would be interesting. I want to see what it looks like inside too, but it'd be kind of sad. I mean, maybe they can dip it in wax or something. I don't know. Kind of cool. 1 in a million. We've seen the odd colored lobster, the genetically mutated prawn, right? But this is cool. Imagine somebody could have just bought it, I guess, and walked away with it or taken a big old bite out of it. But I love that people are flocking to the store to see this really cool apple. Sometimes the world is so weird, you just have to celebrate where you can. There it is. How about this story? There is a question mark as to whether raccoons could become the new dogs. There are some people that have pet raccoons. We've seen them on this show. But now there's a study of raccoons, and it appears they are domesticating themselves. The researchers say this would not be the first time that a wild animal species manipulated humanity for its own benefit, because dogs did this about 14,000 years ago when they realized that befriending humans, which we produce a lot of garbage, resulted in tastier, more abundant scraps and less stress on their own lives, right? If we give them food, makes their life a whole lot easier. And there's new genetic data that indicates cats feeding off the abundant rodents, plundering human food stores, domesticated themselves for similar reasons about 10,000 years ago. So dogs did it and cats did it. What about urban raccoons? They say that these creatures could be headed down the same evolutionary path right into our houses. They are cute. I'll give them that. No. There's a postdoctoral fellow at the UC Berkeley's Shell Lab, who her name is Lauren Stanton, and she said these raccoons are very active and very intelligent animals with very complicated needs. The first problem with this is they're nocturnal. They sleep in tight spaces during the day, and then they venture out at night, at dusk, to forage, to hunt, to explore, and to socialize. And their territories can stretch across 3 square miles. They also are not quiet. They have all sorts of vocalizations. They purr, they chirp, they hiss, they scream even. I did not know this. So if you're looking to put raccoons in a human's house at night, could be noisy, could maybe not work out. And then the paws. They say the paws on a raccoon are really agile. They'd be able to untie knots, unlatch locks, unscrew jars of food, open doors in the middle of the night to let other raccoons in for some sexy parties during mating season. And they scavenge just about anything they could find. So, food in your fridge and in your cabinet could not be trusted around the raccoon. The researchers say they've talked to many people over the years who've attempted to own raccoons. The story often ends the same. The raccoon got too difficult to manage, so they had to release it back into the wild, which is a deadly problem for human raised raccoons that never learned survival skills or how to forage, and then become too trusting of people, get a little too close. Not good. Mm-mm. But there was a study, and I think we talked about it on the show, it was done in 2025, of the snout to skull length ratio of about 20,000 images of raccoons across America. And they were posted on iNaturalist, which is this citizen scientist platform. And they found that the snouts of urban raccoons were about a little more than 3.5% shorter than those of rural raccoons, which could be an early symptom of domestication. Now, Lauren Stanton says that might not be what's happening here. Although morphological changes, she says, might have a genetic basis, there are multiple reasons why that could occur. Changes in skull shape could be due to changes in animals' diet, since many urban species shift toward eating softer carbohydrate-rich foods found in our garbage. And the changes in urban raccoon behavior, she says, can't be chalked up automatically to domestication either. She said if raccoons become habituated to people or learn to associate them with food, they might behave in a more docile or tame manner around people, but that does not mean that these creatures are domesticated. They need additional evidence, including examination of the raccoon genome, to know for sure. In her opinion, what makes raccoons so charismatic is their curiosity and their unruly nature. And here's her quote. She says, "If we attempt to strip away their wildness through ownership or attempts at domestication, we may lose some of the qualities that make them so special in the first place." So, will raccoons become the new dog? Probably not. Here's a fascinating story. You ever heard of the term whale fall? So, what happens when a whale dies and it falls to the bottom of the sea? A whale fall. There has been a discovery now of a 745-mile long whale graveyard found at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. Among these bones, a 5.3 million year old fossil in the middle of the whale fall. We know the ocean floor has carcasses of animals, especially whales. When a whale dies, its body sinks to the ocean floor. Then the carcass becomes an ecosystem with all types of marine life being nourished by what's left behind. And then the whale bones can fossilize over time, leaving behind traces of what life looked like millions of years ago. So scientists in the Indian Ocean discovered this enormous whale graveyard. It's a collection of bones and communities supported by the whale falls stretches 745 miles across the sea floor. It is between almost 14,000 and 23,000 feet deep. The oldest whale fossil there, about 5.3 million years old. And they say this graveyard includes a new species of extinct whale. They have documented the findings in a study published today in the journal Nature. Study co-author from the Chinese Academy of Sciences. His name is Dr. Zhao Tong Peng. Actually, I'm not sure if that's a male or female, but this doctor says the deep sea is far from barren. It is dynamic, full of life, full of history. When a whale dies and sinks, it becomes an oasis, supporting unique communities for decades or even for centuries. Dr. Peng telling Popular Science. That's pretty cool. So the team was studying the geology and the biology of the Southeast Indian Ocean's Haddle Zone, which is the deepest zone. They were looking at between 19,000 and 36,000 feet deep. And they were using a submersible. And that is when divers spotted the first whale fossil about 23,000 feet below the surface. The study's co-author says the remains were quite easy to find, and once they began searching, they looked unusual, so when the dive scientists first encountered them, they wanted to figure out what they were. So they pivoted their objectives to systematically map and document and sample these whale remains. And it came down to curiosity meeting the technological capability to explore depths that had been largely inaccessible. They documented 485 whale fossil sites from 5 active whale falls. Isn't it weird that they kind of fall in the same general area? The whale carcasses are home to a large community of jellyfish and brittle stars, bone-boring worms, bivalves. Some of the species living in the carcasses may even be new to science. Still confirming that. I'm working on that. The oldest has been there since the Pliocene era. It's about 5.3 million years old. Most of the whale fossils came from several species of deep-diving beaked whales. Some of the bones belong to beak whales that still exist today. Others are from extinct whales, including a species new to science. They're calling it Pterocetus diamantinae. Pretty cool. They also found extinct whales and living species. They're all preserved together in the same region across the seafloor at such extreme depths that it was truly unexpected. They say the fossil record is continuous, so the team can track the population of dynamics and evolution of deep diving whales over time. The researchers say the fossils gave them a direct window into the the Pliocene. They show that beaked whales were already specialized deep divers in the Indian Ocean by that time. Beyond the whales themselves, the associated fossil fauna also telling the researchers about the structure of ancient deep sea whale fall communities and the deep sea biodiversity, even back then. They say this whale graveyard could reshape our understanding of both living and extinct beaked whales. Right now, living, there are about 24 species of beaked whales, but their deep sea habitat, likely low population numbers, and their reclusive behavior make them difficult to study. So having this kind of fossil deposit could help explain more about them. Go down for one reason and you find something super cool. I think that's really interesting. Okay, something else found recently, a bunch of old cannons. Yeah, this happened in the Savannah River. Workers were dredging the Savannah River and they found 19 cannons that had been underwater since the Revolutionary War. The cannons started to emerge from the riverbed between 2021 and 22, and experts have spent several years carefully restoring 17 of them. The cannons will be making their public debut in a new exhibition. They had to use a clamshell dredger to scoop up mud as they were dredging the Savannah River. And one day, when the machine rose from the water, it was dragging a centuries old cannon that was all covered in rust. Look at all those cannons they found. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a lot of cannons. Then two more cannons emerged from the riverbed. By the following year, they'd recovered 19 of these cannons, each of them weighing more than 1,000 pounds. Archaeologists at first traced them to a Civil War era ship that sank nearby, but then they realized these artifacts were even older. The guns date to the Revolutionary War. So they've been underwater for 2 centuries. There are experts from Texas's A&M University that have been carefully restoring these cannons, and they will be making their public debut at the Savannah History Museum. The team has been prepping for months, building mounts, planning how we can safely display these very large, very special artifacts. This is cool. So once they found that first one, they then used sonar technology to identify the rest of them. And then they had additional cannons found after dredging as well. Some of them were still loaded, suggesting they'd been aboard a ship that sank quickly. The historians think that it might have been the HMS Rose, which is a British ship that was scuttled in 1779. But then they said, no, the Rose went down further upstream and the artillery hadn't been on board. So then they thought maybe they came from the HMS Savannah, which was another British ship that sank around the same time. Maritime Director of the Commonwealth Heritage Group, Stephen James, telling the Smithsonian, I'd like to assume they're all from the Savannah, but we just don't know that for a fact. There is no evidence of the rest of a ship or a vessel that went down in this area. So the British occupation of Savannah started late in 1778. The Patriots, with the help of the French, plotted to regain control, and when British saw French troops approaching off the coast of Georgia, they scuttled several of their own ships to block the path, and that included the HMS Savannah. And the Smithsonian Magazine says that according to historical accounts, the British could see the French fleet coming from the mouth of the Savannah River down by Tybee Island. They wanted to create some underwater obstructions by scuttling or sinking these vessels. And the battle that followed was one of the bloodiest of the Revolutionary War. American and French troops assembled amid the confusion of a heavy fog, and when the fog cleared, the troops stood exposed before the British. Hundreds of American and French troops killed or wounded. These scuttled ships decayed years ago, and that left a collection of artifacts behind. So, in addition to these cannons, fragments from anchors, pieces of a vessel's bronze bell were found, but none had markings identifying a specific ship. 2 of the cannons, still covered in rust and sediment, went on display in 2021. And after they determined these weapons weren't a safety hazard, the other 17 were sent to a conservation lab at Texas A&M. They did radiocarbon testing on the cannon's wooden stoppers, confirming they dated to the late 1700s. And now these are going on display. And here's what one of them looks like after being restored. Look at that. How cool. What a find. Apparently, the British expressed some interest in having some of these, but they decided, no, we're going to keep them in Savannah. This is where they belong. Not very many things this old pop up here, apparently. They say there's so little left to show what happened here. There's a lot left of this story to tell. So they're going to be part of the Loyalists and Liberty exhibition, which examines Georgia's role in the American Revolution. And they'll be displayed alongside the 2 that are still crusted in sediment, like you see here, which will allow people to appreciate the restoration process. Starting July 2nd, Loyalists and Liberty will be on view at the Savannah History Museum. That's awesome. I have another story for you guys. This one is about sunscreen. I haven't decided. I don't know much about the science behind the what's in this sunscreen, but I do know this. When I was researching shampoos and lotions to use on my infants way back when, and which car seats were the best, I noticed that the standards used in European testing were much more rigorous than the standards used in American testing. That what we consider safe, Europeans are like, no, it needs to withstand this much speed. No, your shampoo has all of these things in it. We don't allow that in Europe. So I looked up the products sold in America that had passed the European safety tests that they say were safe, and that's what I used. And the product I came up with was Mustela, and it smells so good. So that's what I used on my babies. So because I trust what European safety experts are looking at, kind of more than American experts, because it seems like we at our agencies can be, I don't know, let's say paid off, right? We're on the side of business. So we have this now FDA ruling that is allowing this sunscreen ingredient that has long been used in Europe and Asia to now be used here in America. And I think this is a good thing, because I'm seeing that it's used in Europe. So automatically, just because of the history there, I'm feeling a little more positive about it, even though I don't know much about this bemetrinazole. It's Bemotrinol. Bemetrinazole. The FDA just added this to the list of permitted sunscreen active ingredients. Now, this is the first time the FDA has approved a new over-the-counter sunscreen compound since the 1990s. This bemetrinazole protects against both ultraviolet A and B rays, has low levels of absorption through the skin. It's cleared for use by adults and children 6 months and older. The FDA says this ingredient has been available in Europe and many other countries for years. It got authorization from European authorities in 1999. So they've been using it for a long time. The approval fills this gap in the US market. Chemical sunscreen filters currently available in the United States protect against either UVA or UVB rays, but not both. So manufacturers typically blend multiple chemicals to achieve a broad spectrum protection. And we have mineral-based options like zinc oxide block both ray types, but makes your skin all white and pasty, right? So this bemetronidazole offers broad spectrum coverage in a single chemical ingredient without that residue. That according to NBC News. And they say the ingredient is more stable than existing chemical filters as well. So apparently it breaks down less when it's exposed to sunlight. I think that means it lasts longer, which to me, that's why I get burned. I don't put that sunscreen back on fast enough. There is a Dutch company that brought the original request to the FDA. They'll be marketing this under the Parcel Shield brand name when it first hits US store shelves. Parcel Shield. And then rival manufacturers will gain access to this ingredient after an 18-month exclusivity window closes, and the products are expected to be available by the end of the year. The chief science officer at the Environmental Working Group says this: for decades, Americans have used outdated sunscreen technology while the rest of the world moved forward. The approval of bemetronidazole will help change that. There it is. So we get this new sunscreen. We'll probably all be using it by the end of next year. I don't think this is a bad thing. I have some stories to tell you about the lotto of the day. I have two of them for you today. The first one, out of Missouri. It's an unexpected lottery ticket sighting. Is it like a run by fruiting? No. This guy said he unexpectedly spotted his favorite scratch-off game at a store. He's particularly fond of the 24K gold scratch-off tickets because he says he's won some small prizes in the past. He said, I hadn't seen it in a while. So while I was in the gas station, I saw that yellow and I said, ooh, 24K gold. So he buys this ticket from the Raymore Smokes and Liquor and he wins $100,000. He said the most I've ever won was 1,000, so it was a shock. The prize money he expects will go towards some new household appliances and enjoying his retirement. Have you ever had that urge? This happens very, very rarely to me where you think, oh, I should buy a lottery ticket. Well, this urge led this one woman to win a big, big prize. She's from Michigan. 66-year-old lady said she had an urge to buy a lottery ticket while she was out, and she ended up winning a prize of $100,000 a year for life. Ended up being $2.2 million. And it wasn't the first time she played this game. It's called Millionaire for Life. She said, I've been playing Millionaire for Life on and off since the game started earlier this year. And I had an urge to buy a ticket while I was out and about one day. So I went to the closest store and I bought one at the Easy Mart on Highway 131. The next day, scanned the ticket at a store and a message came up, contact the lottery office. And I thought the scanner was broken. So I went out to my car to check the numbers on MichiganLottery.com. And she said I saw a winning ticket was purchased in Mansalona. And then I saw I'd matched all 5 numbers. And I yelled, I just won 2.2 million. And I did a happy dance in my car. The drawing's top prize is $100,000 a year for life, and if you choose to take the winnings as a one-time lump sum payment, that is $2.2 million. She said she plans to use her money to buy a new house, a new car, and a boat. Wow, go big or go home, lady. She's enjoying that money. That is the lotto of the day. I have also a story for you about a different kind of luck. This guy says he feels extremely lucky after he survived a grizzly bear encounter. This guy, I should say, what happened to him required him to have 3 surgeries. His name is Shane Patrick Burke. He is a veteran that has survived deployments to Iraq, and he even survived a brain tumor. And now he has survived this grizzly bear attack as well. and he sat down with ABC News to talk about what happened to him and how he survived. I mean, what a story to tell. This is crazy. Here he is, sitting down and discussing it. Looks like he's still sporting a cast on his arm. So he says this is one of those rare moments, and I know it's cliche to say lucky to be alive, but he says he's extremely lucky to be alive. He was hiking with a buddy at Glacier National Park in Montana, and he and his friend split up temporarily. The friend was hiking in an area of the park's Grinnell Glacier Trail, and he said the bear saw him and charged toward him. This bear, he said, as soon as we looked at each other, it charged toward me. I think, he said, I was just so close to it that it frightened the bear. So this man's name is Daniel Crago. And Crago says he's an experienced hiker. He initially called out to the bear when he first came across it in order to alert it to his presence and try not to frighten it. He said, hey, bear, as it looked up at me, and then it just charged toward me and took a leap. He said you could hear the roar, and I stuck my arm up out of self-defense. He said the bear bit him on his right forearm and knocked him backward, dragging him for about 20 feet before running away down the mountain. He said he did have bear spray on him at the time, but he was unable to use it. He said the whole encounter with this bear lasted less than 10 seconds. The area where the attack happened was in a part of the park with loud rushing water. So they say it was likely hard for either of them to hear or notice each other before they saw each other. He credits his friend and nearby hikers for rushing to his aid, saying one of the nearby hikers was a doctor who fashioned a tourniquet on his arm to reduce the blood loss. He said he doesn't know if he would have made it if that doctor hadn't been there. That is extremely lucky. He was airlifted to a nearby hospital, sustained an open fracture of both bones in his forearm. Yikes. Required 3 surgeries to repair that damage. And he said he'll need additional Medicare, including a skin graft in the future as well. But he's recovering and says he's grateful to wake up every day and make the most of each day and enjoy it. Here's what the National Park Service says. Not that any of us are coming in contact with a grizzly or any bear, but just in case, put this in your, remember this. Rule number 1, never approach a bear. Stay alert. Avoid using headphones while on trails. Hike in groups while possible. Make noise near streams, dense vegetation, and blind corners. Store food, trash, and scented items properly. Carry bear spray, and never run from a bear. If you encounter a bear, stay calm, speak in a steady voice, back away slowly, don't make any sudden movements. Visitors should report bear encounters to park staff as soon as it's safe to do so. Sounds like this guy, once again, manages to live another day. Are you ready to go to Waterfall Wednesday? Because I am definitely ready to go to Waterfall Wednesday. And I have to thank Gordon, who sent me a really cool video. See if I can find it. Thought I had it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. So Gordon sent me a video of a hidden waterfall in San Francisco. I think I've been to this one, but here is what he sent me. See if I can. Okay. Let me play this for you. He sent me this video, and I thank you, Gordon, for sending me this message. It brings me great joy when people send me waterfalls and caves and story ideas. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Here is what Gordon sent. And it says, you've seen the Golden Gate Bridge, but have you seen this hidden waterfall in San Francisco? See if I can bring the sound up. Oops. Sorry about that. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's just music. Look at that. Huntington Falls in Golden Gate Park. Let's watch it again because I'm twiddling with the view. Wow. Falls and Golden Gate Park. Man-made, clearly, but still really cool. Oop. The hidden waterfall in Golden Gate Park led me to hidden waterfalls in San Diego. And I didn't know they had them there, but check out this one. That's a tall waterfall. San Diego's tallest waterfall is a hidden jewel surrounded by canyon trails and wildlife. This according to islands.com. Of course, San Diego County, California's most second populous county. We have beaches, inland canyons, mountains, deserts. This is Mildred Falls, a hidden jewel surrounded by canyon trails and wildlife, 300 feet high. This is 8 miles west of the Pine Hills community. It flows from Ritchie Creek to the San Diego River. And it used to be, pardon me for just a moment. Sorry, I had to cough. It used to be that getting here was really difficult. You had to enter a 58-acre piece of private property where this waterfall used to sit. But when the property was listed for sale, this local nonprofit called San Diego River Park Foundation came in and decided to protect this 52-mile waterway, which begins in the mountains near Julian and Santa Isabel and runs to the Pacific Ocean. So the nonprofit purchased the land by recruiting more than 250 donors who contributed upwards of $300,000 to safeguard this area for public use and protect wildlife, including a golden eagle nest and a California gnatcatcher habitat. There are also southwestern pond turtles, arroyo toads, cougars, all kinds of creatures here. They are working on a formal plan to create a safe public viewing area. But they say if you have a sense of adventure, you can explore the canyon trails to get a closer glimpse of the falls and some of the unique creatures here. So here's one view of it, and I have a view from another angle. 300 feet tall. Can you believe that was someone's private land? Look at my waterfall. They have a bunch of ways, if you're in San Diego County and you wanted to go look at it, as to how you can access this waterfall. But they say, prepared to be a little wet. Hikers can access it from a bunch of different trails. So there's some work cut out for the San Diego River Park Foundation to make this accessible to everyone who would like to see it. Other people say maybe not so fast. Maybe this area should be kept a secret so it doesn't become overcrowded or too well known. But Mildred Falls, they say, is undeniably a spectacular San Diego stunner. There is the Hidden Falls of San Diego and one in San Francisco. Thanks again to Gordon for sending that. Really, really nice. I do want to thank everyone who contributes to this show as we continue to look at our beautiful Mildred Falls here in California. So many people are so kind and contribute to this show in a way that just, I mean, it's unbelievable the support. And this is why the show has continued this long, because you make it happen every single day. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. The most recent contributors include Wes. Delette set up a recurring PayPal payment that came through once a month. Thank you, Delette. Chris H. Huge thank you. Chris of Chris and Donna. So thank you for that. Kathy O coming through with a recurring PayPal payment. Deidre as well. These are the most recent contributors to PayPal. That information, by the way, is in every show description, and it's in the About tab. Actually, Wes helped me in the About tab just create a live link, so you could just click on it right there. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And the contributors today on the super chat, super stickers, which are always open. And that includes Luis with a lovely comment. And thank you. No, Luis, you're no ko'oi. And Scott Rittenberg throwing in a 20. Happy belated a bit birthday. Did you get to pet a Luma? Oh, I heard the Lumas. The Lumas are mythical creatures. Very hard to come across one. I've only seen one once or twice. The Lumas, they hide out in the Petaluma Hills in the fog in the early morning hours and at dusk. So it's difficult to find one. I did not see one on my birthday, Scott. Thank you for that. Appreciate the birthday wish and appreciate the 20. And you are so kind. Huge, huge thank you. Glenn coming in. I think I'm the one that owes Glenn, but here comes Glenn contributing to the show with the exotic and unique Australian dollars again. Love the waterfalls. Thank you. I love the waterfalls you showed us yesterday too, Glenn. It was like a waterfall Wednesday early. Those were beautiful. Thank you again for coming on the show, and thank you for the contribution. All right, you guys, please vote if you can, and I will see you tomorrow. Mark is back. We've got David Katz coming through. Going to be a really good show. So many fun guests. And then here on the After Party Live, of course, we have our Trivia Thursday. And then I'm back with Nikki tomorrow night at 5 p.m. for the Nikki Maduro Show. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Until we meet again, make it the very best rest of your Wednesday. And I'll see you tomorrow right back here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Happy birthday, Nolophidian. Thank you, Ricky.